What it do, YouTube? Welcome back to more Real Talk, where it is what it is. It's been a while, guys. It's been a while. Hold on, I'm trying to go live on Instagram really quick. Yeah, so it's been a while, guys, but I am back with a YouTube video here. I want to talk about the 14 kinds of manipulation. And I want to share this with you guys because I want you to be aware of the tactics and schemes that are out there that people are using against one another to get what they want. And just to start, the definition of manipulation is defined as the act of influencing or controlling someone or something in an unfair or underhanded way to achieve personal goals. It can also refer to the act of changing something in an unfair or selfish way. And before I elaborate further on that, give me 1 second, guys, while I do something here. Let's see. I'm trying to share my live video. Oh wow, look at me. Look at me, look at me, look at me. Let's see. Yeah, I want my peoples to jump on. Copy link. Okay. All right. So that is the definition of manipulation. And like I said, hey, Dime more in the building. Dime. Uh-oh. Oh, sorry. It's been a minute since I've been on here. Now I don't know how to work nothing. Hey, but okay. So yeah, so we're going to be talking about that because I want you guys to be aware of the different tactics that's out there that really can hinder your thinking. This can hinder your process in life. This can hinder how you interact with others. This can damage your nervous system. This can do a lot of detrimental damage to males and females. And one thing that I personally believe is that I think that um, men have a better chance at manipulating women versus it being the opposite. And the reason I believe that women get manipulated easier is because of our emotional state, right? You don't really have to do anything um, to manipulate a woman. Once you kind of got that talk game and you get in her head a little bit, especially if she is sleeping with you, but even before that point, women are just more susceptible to being controlled and manipulated. And it's easier to distort our reality because of our emotional state and because of our imagination and how we're programmed to think and different things of that's been put in front of us since birth, right? So men can be easily manipulated with sex, but again, you really don't have to do too much to get a woman going, right? So the first thing that we're going to talk about today is triangulation, right? Triangulation is the main focus of this is to play one against the other. And this can be in a committed relationship or even a friendship where one person may use like a third person to validate their own perception and feelings. And this is done to exercise control as well as divert the issue from the manipulator onto you. And to me, when I hear of triangulation, to me, this sounds like an advanced form of gaslighting. You know, you're just bringing in a third person to really hype things up. And the goal of this, or one of the goals, is to maintain control. But this corrupts trust, it corrupts direct communication. But most importantly, this allows the manipulator to maintain control because if it's now one against two, two heads are always better than one. And you know who knows if the side character is being manipulated as well. We don't know, but what we do know is that the victim often finds themselves stuck within a cycle of misunderstanding and conflicts. And I would say for a situation I would say for a situation like this, you know, what are your validating points? You have to really stand on what you believe to be true without wavering and falling into deceptive motives. which is easier said than done. And by the time you realize you're within triangulation, the manipulation has literally already begun. But it's not too late to break it. So you have to not be moved within your mind of how things actually happened and how this truly made you feel. If two people are against you, there will automatically be a struggle within you, right? But remember the legitimate circumstances, no matter if they call you crazy, no matter if they use their emotions against you, do not be moved because you are speaking the truth and they need to silence you by bringing in two voices against one. Okay. And so that's my primary, overall thoughts with that for triangulation. I can't really recall any personal interactions I've had, with dealing with triangulation. The second one that I am bringing up, oh, buddy. Woo! This second one, I got a few stories for you. I'm not really going to share any of it, but this second one that we're going into of manipulation called the double bind. Now, when I read about the double bind, this is golden. The most golden trickery in the book. I mean, the way this is done is completely like just beyond me. And so, okay, so the double bind is basically when you are faced with two contradicting choices, right? Two conflicting messages. However, regardless of the choice made, you will be wrong or at a disadvantage, right? And this is primarily used to confuse and control you, right? This tactic causes you to feel powerless and anxious as if there's no way out. But there is, and we will get to that. So a great example of this is a great example of the double bind, if you're still kind of lost, is a parent may criticize a child for not being open. But when the child chooses to express themselves, they are reprimanded for being disrespectful or overly sensitive. So if you open up, you are punished. And if you do not, you're criticized. And this causes the victim to be confused, insecure about how to act, as all of their actions are going to result in a negative response. And this is the birthplace of low self-esteem and self-doubt. So the double bind will indeed bring about destruction to your own judgment. And so in my eyes, like I said, this is golden trickery, right? A true powerful form of manipulation and the most trickster-like mentality. So it's like, despite whatever choice you make, you will be wrong. And y'all know this the supervillain, or in either Marvel or DC, Harvey Dent, called Two-Face. And he uses the double-sided coin to, I guess, trick, the victim, the person he's facing. And, imagine making a deal and the manipulator says, heads or tails? You pick tails. Now your life was dependent on this choice, your values, your inner being. But before the coin is flipped, you will be wrong. Imagine that. Imagine that, yo. Hey, we got my boy Matthew. What it do? I ain't banned. I'm not banned. I just have a lot of things going on. And that's all I'm gonna say on that. But glad you're here. Let's get into it. Okay, I need some water, y'all. Hold on. I ain't drink no water today. I've been slacking, y'all. Look at all this water that I have not drank. I got my workout outfit on with the scrunchie in the back. Anyways, okay, I'm sorry. So that's Harvey Dent's trick, the double-sided coin. And it's like your critical thinking won't matter. The best way to control a nation is to make them feel as if they have a choice, but really it's already been decided for them. Your fate has been decided by the manipulator. And let's not forget the motive for why somebody would do this. It's for self-gratification. It's all about oneself. If you're ever presented with a double bind, understand the manipulation has already been in effect This is just another crossroad of control, a higher level to really get everything possible from you. You know. Okay, so that's the double bind, right? Let me make sure y'all with me still. Hey, oh, D-May. Let me make sure Instagram. Okay, so that's the double bind. And so how do you take back the power once you've been placed in a double bind? Now, I really want y'all to follow with me, okay? Because again, the double bind is about two contradicting choices, and regardless of the choice made, you will be wrong. So how do you get out of the double bind, and how do you defeat this? You pick the choice that will serve you in pain. You pick the choice that will serve you in pain. I'm going to say it one more time, just like Dr. Umar Johnson. You pick the choice that will serve you in pain. Why are you going to be in pain? Because the trick was designed to impair you or destroy you despite of the choice made. Some pain is going to come along with this, but making the responsible choice that will benefit you in the long run does not fall into, pleasing others. And this is really just another effect of the double bind, where you feel like you have to stay or you have to make a choice that's going to please them. That's not what you should do. And so thinking if you make certain choices that will benefit them, you'll win them back over somehow, that's false. And so let me give you an example of what I mean by you pick the choice that serves you even in pain. I had a friend that was placed in a double bind. A man told her that he can only be interested in her if he's sleeping with her, right? And if she's not, then he's not interested. So little did she know, when you sleep with this man, it's only a matter of time before he walk away anyway. Due to what? A lack of interest. So if you choose to not sleep with him because he's not genuinely interested in you and he walks away, you'll be hurt, yes. But at least you didn't sell more than what was needed. At least you didn't give more than what you've already gave in the past. You still walked away with some integrity and pride. And most importantly, you actually walked away in victory. Just because you get a little beat down in the war doesn't mean that you're not victorious. So, she chose herself in that moment to say, you know what? I'm not going to sleep with you because that's not where I want this to go. And if you're not interested, then you're just not interested. Think about if she had still slept with that man and then he still walk away because he ain't interested. Like, come on now. Like, yo, uh-oh, Matt on another phone. It's hard to be friends with you women though, but it can be because you're, sexually motivated. So that's really what it is. And you don't want to be friends with a woman because it's like, yeah, you're taking too long giving me them cheeks. And that's really I think that's what that's about. But anyways, so, and exactly, she should save herself, as she should and as she did. So by her making that choice of saying, you know what, I'm not going to do this, that should still hurt. You're in a double bind. There's no way to escape the pain. All you can do is pick the choice that will better serve you in pain. So think about how she made that decision to, open up to him in that way and actually give herself to him. And then that nigga be like, deuces, ciao. That double bind is a fool. That's just one example that I have for y'all, because I feel like it's a universal example. I feel like it's very relatable. But that double bind comes in so many different forms. If you ever feel like it's like, damn, yo, like damned if I do, damned if I don't. If you ever have to say those words about any situation, you are in a double bind, my friend. You are in a double bind. So that one's at the top of the list. That one's the most golden trickery I've ever seen. So the next one we're going to go into, which is the third one, this is projection. This is an obvious one. I think a lot of us are kind of hip on projection in a sense. And so projection is basically when the manipulator attributes like his own flaws, intentions, and feelings onto you. And it's really when they are, they're unwilling to acknowledge their own shortcomings or their own negative behaviors, and they have to make you feel guilty about your own actions. So this kind of distorts reality and it'll make the victim question like their own perception. It'll make you question, you know, how you feel, or I'm sorry, hold on. It'll this will make you really question like your own perceptions, and this will make you question like how you feel about the situation that the manipulator is putting onto you. And so like when you confront projection, this requires for you to have a really strong sense of your own reality and your own boundaries. And so like we could say like an example of projection is a man will accuse, like his friend guy of being nervous around females, when really it's him that's actually nervous about being around females. So, it's always like a flip on how they actually feel. They just put it onto you. A great example I have about this is like, when guys are like, I've had guys like, I'm like looking around and I look over and why you always staring at me, man? You always looking at me. Why you all? Baby, I'm looking around the room. You're staring at me. And so like little childish things like that. I think that's childish. But projection is an obvious one. But if you ever confront it, you just have to make sure you have a really strong sense of your own reality and a strong sense of your boundaries. You have to be intact and honest with yourself about how you actually feel when it comes to situations, because if anyone's ever going to put something on you, you'll immediately know that's not how you feel. That's not your makeup. That's not your mentality. And then you can easily analyze that this is projection. So I'm not going to beat a horse with a disc or beat a dead horse with a stick. Let me see if there's anything else. That's pretty much it for a projection. So the fourth thing that we're going to go into is time pressure. Time pressure is obvious, and then it's not. But time pressure is used to force a victim to make a quick decision, based on like a false sense of urgency. And the victim often feels like lost with anxiety when it comes to this. Time pressure is always a red flag for manipulation. This is commonly used in sales. In sales, like, oh, it's only 50% off. It's only a limited time offer. They create a false sense of urgency, and it makes you feel like an anxiety. You kind of get worried, if you'll make it before the sale is over, and what if we don't make it there? It gives you a false sense of like you're losing. You're at a disadvantage. And I would say this is also entwined with love bombing, because love bombing is about the faster I can make you think that I'm this amazing guy, the faster I can get you in bed and whatever else he wants. The faster your emotions are involved, the faster I get to control you and handle you in the way I see fit. So all of that, all of that false sense of urgency, there's always a motive behind that. And it's usually something that is very corrupt. And they want to hurry up and do it so they can avoid the consequences. You ever had something happen to you so fast, and by the time they gone, or they long gone, and you like, God dang it, you got me, little buddy. Yeah, time pressure. So I would say it's entwined with love bombing. And you get stuck with all the backlash, and you really don't have anyone else to vent to after that. What number you on? I think number 4. I think this is 4, right? 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah. This is number 4. Time pressure. You messing me up, Matthew. Let me see. Okay, yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about time pressure. So that is one of the that is the 4th one, time pressure. And don't forget, it is entwined with love bombing, very much so. And I do want to actually chime in on this last thing. I have a point here. One of the darkest things about love bombing is that once the mask is like taken off, you spend the rest of the relationship desperately trying to get them to put it back on. Like they knew it was fake, but you didn't. And so you keep reminiscing about how he treated you in the beginning, and none of that actually existed for real. And we don't really get we don't really need to elaborate further on that, but it's, you just spend the rest of the time with them, like desperately trying to get them to put that mask back on. Put that mask back on, please. And they're like, no, this is who I am. I never loved you. All right. So, okay. So now the fifth one we're going to go into is inconsistency and unpredictability. This is where the manipulator acts erratically and unpredictably, causing confusion and insecurity. And this can come in many extreme forms, such as, being loving and attentive one moment and then cold and disdainful the next, for whatever reason or for no reason. And this is to keep the victim in a state of disorientation and bringing on anxiety, as they cannot predict or understand the actions of the manipulator, their partner. And this is really done in abusive relationships, where the abuser alternates between kindness and cruelty to create an emotional and unstable environment. And the victim is desperately trying to understand the behavior, and they have a yearning for this approval of love. And so this kind of creates that cycle of trying to please them. You're never going to achieve stability or satisfaction. You can forget that. But the unpredictability is effective because it capitalizes on the human desire for consistency and stability. That is a natural human desire that everybody on this planet needs. That's why when people's life is at disarray, you're inconsistent, you have this up and down. When your life is all up and down, there's no consistency and no stability, you're completely disoriented all the time. And so, when a person's actions don't follow like a logical pattern, it becomes difficult to adapt to. And this leads to like a state of emotional and psychological dependence on the manipulator, who appears to be the only source of relief in this situation. And, I will say that I experienced that in one of my relationships, of somebody being like loving and kind one moment and then just completely dark the next moment. And I'm like getting thrown around because I'm just like, whoa, like what's going on? So you just kind of keep searching, you keep going in this useless cycle. So the best way to deal with inconsistency and unpredictability is to not deal with it. You cannot make anyone commit or sacrifice anything for you. There's not enough backflips you can do to make someone say, okay, I'm all in. I did like 15 of them. I did like 15 backflips and he was still like, nah. I was just like, all right, bro, I'm out. And so, when a woman or a man is serious about you, all things are clear. Like over time, you see conformity, which is an antonym for inconsistency, which is hilarious. So if someone's intentions are not made clear with their actions following, just go ahead and exit stage left. Go ahead and clock out. What Drewski say? Get them the fuck out of here. You just gotta go. And you have to take my words, learn from MRT's mistakes. When you tolerate stuff like this, you will have wasted time, unspoken levels of trauma. Do not allow people to take time from you, because it's very limited on this earth. It's very limited. And if they don't want to be all in, fine, go figure it out in your own time, with somebody else. There's nothing you can ever do to make somebody truly ride for you. If that dog ain't in them, it's just not there. If they ain't got that dog in them, that dog ain't gonna bark. Like, that's just what it is. Like 15 backflips is crazy. I thought I was damn Simone Biles. Still lost the game. Hey! Still lost. But so that's the fifth one, y'all. Inconsistency and unpredictability. Now this next one, emotional blackmail. I guess it's more common. Maybe I just haven't really experienced this like all the way. But emotional blackmail can be stuff like a phrase like, if you really love me, X, Y, and Z. Because it exploits emotions to get what they want. And what this is also designed to do is to create a sense of obligation, fear, guilt, or shame in the victim, and it causes you to act against your own interest or values to satisfy the manipulator's demands, right? And this is abuse. This is abuse of the emotional bond that you have, and it's like the manipulator suggests directly or indirectly that your well-being, happiness, or love depends on your actions, the victim's actions. And you know what else is emotional blackmail? Saying I love you. Because most of the time, this is also used by men primarily proclaiming to a woman, and it's the farthest thing from the truth. You are exploiting her to get what you want. Okay. You want her emotionally invested, because if she is emotionally invested, she will give you what you want and more. So this is used to completely take everything from you. Absolutely all that you can imagine. So emotional blackmail can be, if you love me, then you'll do X, Y, and Z. And it can also be simply somebody telling you that they love you and they don't, so that they can exploit you emotionally. So emotional blackmail, I guess that has been done to me more than I thought. Because now I'm thinking about it, and now that I'm saying it out loud, even though I did the research, I was just like, damn. And like, the best way to combat this, really the only way to combat this, is to really line up a person's actions with their words. Because behavior is a language. Believe it or not, behavior is a language. And if this person has made excuses inconsistent with their words, leading them to be inconsistent with their behavior, lying, they can't get the base, it's all a lie. Behavior is a language, and somebody that is not in it for the long run, somebody that does not love you, their actions, behavior will tell you in the long run what it is before they actually tell you what it is. So you have to pay attention to what someone will sacrifice for you. What is he willing to do to show you every day that he means what he says? Your word is all you have, bro. Your word is all you have in this world. And if you cannot keep that, you won't keep nothing else. So emotional blackmail, always align their actions with their words. Exactamente. Matt. Okay, so, but yeah, line up. That's the best way to combat emotional blackmail, is to line up their actions with their words. Behavior is a language. And so, what is this? A sixth one? Sixth one here we got is gaslighting. This is also, I think, a pretty common one. We hear it a lot now online, so I think most of us might be pretty privy to gaslighting and like what this looks like. But for those that don't, gaslighting is basically when the manipulator will deny like certain events that have occurred, or they'll distort facts to contradict your memory, as well as devalue your feelings. Gaslighting also concludes of using privileged information to discredit you. And the victim has a constant self-assessment and the search for external validation. So this can only exist this can exist in relationships, the workplace, politics, the media. The impact is severely profound, because it can lead to anxiety and depression, and it'll give you a loss of trust within your own perceptions and memories. So to win against this tactic is to basically stand on business. If you need to write things down, you can. But what can help you is if you are able to have someone assist you in validating your own reality instead of seeking validation from the manipulator. Because when people gaslight you, it makes you want to go back to them and try to prove this or try to say this to get them to change whatever they're saying about you. And it can just really do a lot of damage on the inside, leaving you to, like I said, anxiety and depression. So, being able to write things down or having someone that you can talk to help realign your reality and your mental state, those are good things to do as well. Someone that you truly trust, because you don't want to go into that state of trying to confirm with them what's the truth and what's not. The feeling, it can give you feelings of like feel like you desperately need to get them to understand. And understanding is not going to change anything, because the goal of gaslighting is for you to be the bad guy, for you to apologize, and most importantly, take the attention off the manipulator and to put it on you. It's kind of the same tactic as triangulation. Like I said, triangulation just brings in a third party. And the gaslighting is done to maintain control and for the spotlight to be on you and not what they've done in the dark. So you have to know what you saw or experienced or felt. You have to know that it is true. And the ultimate solution, I feel like, to gaslighting is to remove yourself, because if you know something happened and the perpetrator is just trying to deny each and everything you're saying, like, it's time to go. You can never win with a person like that, because there is no reconciliation. It's a be blonde bitch and allow me to do what I do. And every time you try to call me out, I will remind you of everything you do wrong or have done. Like, it's just to divert the attention back on you and to make you feel like you crazy and X, Y, and Z, when really you just calling them out, or you having a civil conversation and they cannot take any accountability. So yeah. Back it up. Y'all just look like y'all be curving men. How? What do you mean? How? Yo, like, I really just be chilling, man. I promise you, I be minding my business, man. And they come to me with the triangulation and the double bind and the projection. I hope you saw that spit that came out of my mouth too. That's how serious it was. Matthew. All right. All right. This next one here, this is my least favorite, to be honest. I think this is 6, 7. We have false social approval, right? Like I said, this is my least favorite. Just because, like, the way social media is now, you can't really fake it if people F with you or not on a certain level. Like, it's eventually going to be seen. But false social approval is basically when a manipulator pretends or exaggerates the level of support or approval they have from others. And it's really just done to make them feel like that they're bigger than what they are. So they may distort like facts or stories, and it exploits human tendency to conform to like a group of norms. It exploits human tendency to conform to a group of norms and for you to seek like social approval. So this is simulated by like pretending like they have a broad level of acceptance or support. That's what I'm trying to say. And the manipulator tries to induce the victim to feel like they have this certain line of action, and they don't. Like, they don't got it like that. Like, social media is so advanced to where like you can see if somebody's capping, if they're that guy or not. Like, I'm really him. No, you're not. I hate when guys do that. Oh, I'm really him. I'm that. No, you're not, bro. Like, you got 1,000 followers on Instagram and 50 likes on a picture. Like, come on, bro. They do. They do have mental issues. I agree. It doesn't make any sense on why you trying to lie. Why are you trying to lie about how many people like you? Nobody likes you. Nobody likes you, bro. So that, like I said, that's my least favorite. This one here, concealment of information. I think this happens more often than we think when you really think about it. But concealment of information is a manipulation tactic. And it's deliberately, the purpose of it is to deliberately withhold important or like relevant information with the goal to influence decisions or perceptions. And this has a major effect on the victim because it alters the victim's understanding and behavior, and they begin to operate like with a false sense of reality. So you ever hear those stories of like a man that has like a secret family across seas, and he's with his new family for like a couple of months? I'm sure if they knew you abandoned a lot to your old family, they wouldn't have begun a new one with you. Like, men that travel, especially if they're wealthy or possibly like in the military, they do this all the time. Like, I've heard of men lying about the woman that they're best friends with is actually somebody they have slept with, or, would sleep with under the right circumstances. Women have lied about their child's father, of who the child's father actually is, and the man finds out. So yeah, concealment of information. We do hear of that, but just, I guess not. We don't label it as concealment of information. We just be like, nigga, you lying. That's really what we be doing. But those stories are bizarre, like withholding information. Come on, guys. So yeah, that's like 6 or 7. Now, this one here, I like this next one. This next one, manipulation, is fear attachment. Now we really about to get into like my last couple of favorites here. Outside of the double bind. The double bind is still number 1. It's that golden trickery. It's still number 1. That shit is like the double bind, the double-sided coin. Jesus. Okay, fear attachment. Okay, fear attachment. This goes hand in hand with intentional silence, aka the silent treatment. And we're gonna dive into fear attachment though. So manipulators use fear attachment to create like a do or die scenario. If you do not do something, then there will be consequences. Like, the goal is to make the victim feel like they will lose them as a result of not complying to whatever the manipulator is requesting. So they want you to have no choice but to agree and comply. And this is somewhat similar to the double bind, but not quite the same. An example of this could be, I'll leave you if you do not do X, Y, and Z. This reflects the double bind because, like, if you are doing X, Y, and Z to please them, it's usually displeasing to yourself. But if you do not do this, they will be displeased with you. So, with a fear attachment, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. So, some people are terribly afraid to lose whoever they have in their life. And if you get the wrong person as your spouse, they can exploit this to the max in you. And so, this can be highly effective if, like I said, if the victim is 100% dependent on them, which works well on women because we depend on the man to provide, protect X, Y, and Z, right? So you get the wrong person as your spouse, and you have a fear attachment. So now let's dive into the intentional silence and how this goes like hand in hand with fear attachment, right? So the intentional silence, aka the silent treatment, this is all about the refusal to communicate as a way to exert power or punish someone. And so, like I said, this is known as the silent treatment, and this is to invalidate the victim's emotional expression, right? So the silent treatment creates an environment of uncertainty, anxiety, and isolation. Now, I said fear attachment goes hand in hand with intentional silence because it creates an environment of uncertainty, anxiety, and isolation. When you cannot reach someone that you are committed to or used to speaking to daily, you feel as if you are losing them because they are refusing to communicate. So you feel like you are losing them. To rectify this, you feel like you need to run after, beg, plead, negotiate, apologize. And this puts the manipulator as king. So in this situation, you are in this situation, you are the peasant, despite who is actually at fault. So it don't even matter. But when they hit you with that silent treatment, I'm sorry. Fear attachment's kicking in. Your anxiety is going crazy. You're uncertain. You don't know what's going to happen. You're isolated. You're by yourself. You can't reach them. All of a sudden, this must have been my fault. This must have been me acting out of character. This must have been what I said. I should have never done this. Yeah, the manipulator will refuse to respond, to communicate, and the victim feels rejected, insecure, and desperate for resolution or explanation. So this is to make the victim question their own behavior, like I said, feelings, or worse, make them feel as if they're the problem for silence. And this often, makes concessions for, like I said, apologies, and even when you're not at fault. And silence can be used as a powerful tool because it capitalizes off the human need for communication and validation. So the victim, can feel devalued and invisible, and this can deteriorate your self-esteem and emotional well-being. This can really, really, really. Oh, y'all got questions. So like, if I can't get none of them out, man. Hold on, like show her best futures and want huge interest. I don't know what you're talking about, Matt. I don't know. Child. So I would say out of the double bond being the golden trickery, I would say intentional silence entwined with fear attachment. I would say that's probably the darkest. I feel like that is the darkest. And to counter this, it's a wicked move. It's a wicked move, but don't, and it's hard, it's easier said than done, but do not give into the pleasure of desperately wanting to communicate with someone that lacks the capacity to have a healthy dialogue. You will lose yourself as if you walked into a black abyss trying to reconcile something that was never intended to be reconciled. So sometimes you have to be okay with walking away without any closure, and you for damn sure have to be okay with walking away without an apology. You will waste your life trying to fix something that was supposed to take two people, but you the only one shucking and jiving trying to make it work. Learn to be okay with silence, because silence is louder than words. Silence is louder than words. Do not ever run behind nothing that is not trying to run behind you. It's a dark game that's played. It's a dark game that's played. I feel like, it's a dark game that's played. The next one we're going to get into, oh shit, we only got like 3 more. So the next one we're going to get into is the blame game. Our culture right now is the blame game. All of these podcasts about relationships. Women should do this. Men should do that. Shut the hell up. Shut up. I am sick and tired of getting online. And bruh, y'all don't got nothing else to talk about. Nobody has nothing else to talk about. And sadly, it's only us that's just all over the internet. Oh, women, oh, men. Bruh, shut your ass up, bruh. I can't do it. Like, it really does weigh on you to hear the same thing day in and day out. All of you are the same. You're saying the same shit. Different body, different day. Okay. Blame game. This is shifting responsibility onto the victim, right? The manipulator uses this to avoid, the attention from their own actions to maintain control. I don't really feel like I need to elaborate on this one. It's pretty self-evident. And I think this works on weaker women, because women that don't stand 10 toes down, they'll allow anybody to shake their belief or perception. And most importantly, they'll allow others to create a faulty reality of who's at fault and all. Take accountability and just be responsible for your own actions and just move on in life. Somebody don't want to take accountability. They don't want to apologize after they know that they was wrong. Ew, it's a freaking ladybug in here. And I felt bad because I didn't want to kill it, but I don't want it in here. And I'm not touching it to get it out. That just upset me. The blame game. Self-evident. It's all over the internet. It's in our everyday lives. So just take accountability, guys. If you want to be better in life, start with taking accountability. This will indeed propel you forward in life in many aspects. I would say telling the truth and taking accountability. Do this and you'll be well off. Okay. So this one here, this next one here is also pretty dark. I can detect this pretty easy now in life that I've gained some experience, got some age on me. And so false praise, false praise, false praise. I'm not talking about what you see in church either. This technique is basically used when people give you like insincere compliments, basically. And it's to influence and control. This is to really gain your trust and to make you lower your guard, or feel indebted. So if you've ever had somebody overly compliment you and you feel like you need to give them a compliment, that's what I mean when when I says it can make you feel indebted because they're just constantly dumping all of this stuff on you. You feel like you need to compliment them back now. And this is often used like to soften the victim before a request is made, or it can be used to distract you from like hidden intentions. And it creates a false positive atmosphere. When someone feels praised, the person usually wants to maintain that atmosphere, right? And when you develop the ability to discern the sincerity of compliments received, it's very important. You have to observe the behavior pattern of the praiser, the context, and congruence between words and actions, right? I personally hate being over complimented. When I don't respond like with the reaction people want me to have because they have a secret motive, they hit me with a, oh, you used to everybody telling you that, or you're beautiful, or you must always be used to, all because I didn't fall out, like I'm an NPC, thank you for the roses. Thank you for the roses. Like, in my earlier days, I used to fall for that and respond with like over dramatic, like sense of thankfulness. And, they keep hoarding me in every compliment. And, before I knew it, I'm like, why am I getting tired of responding with this energy? Like I was taking in a false reality. So I produced a false reality, false praise and false thanks. Be mindful of the energy people put out and want to like regulate. You know what I mean? What people put out is what, watch how you respond to the energy that people put out. We're all receivers, especially women. But it's anybody can receive any type of energy if you observe right. So, I don't take kindly to to being over complimented. And someone I was actually dating recently, somebody that I was just going out with or whatever, I would notice like whenever they would like be gone for like a couple of days, like like when you locked in with somebody and then all of a sudden they kind of fall off, like you still talking to them but they're not pushing for you as hard as they was. It's like when he would come back around, and I guess he never picked up that I responded to this, but when he would come back around, he'd just be like, beautiful queen, and oh my God, I missed you, I love you, like just dumping all of this on me to the point to where like it was so obvious. Like, and I guess he never picked it up, but I would look, I say, why are you gassing me so hard? Why are you gassing me right now? Or like I'd be like, or I ask him, I say, why are you trying to butter me right now? And little did he know, it's just like, baby, you're showing your tail, like something's amiss. I can feel it because you're trying to make me feel too good. I already missed you. You don't need to try to put on, you know what I'm saying? But it turns out he was putting that shit on and it was some shit. So yeah. False praise, bro. That's one I can detect it. I can detect it because this is like, you really got to pay attention to what people be saying, yo. Like, and I promise you, like, you'll begin to peep it. So the next one we're going to go into is victimization. This is also kind of, this is also pretty common. Victim mentality. We know Black people are good for that one. But, victimization is when a manipulator will present themselves as a victim, of unfair circumstances or events. And it's used to just gain control. It's used to gain sympathy and to avoid responsibility. And it portrays themselves as the victim to seek like compassion. They want to evoke compassion. And it can be effective because it appeals to the natural instinct to help and protect those who are suffering or at a disadvantage. It's a natural instinct to want to help people in need. And so when people put it on, it's, you know, it's a mask. So I forgot I wrote down this example. Oh my God. I'm gonna tell it though, because we on MRT, more real talk. It is what it is. Okay, so listen to this story. This is a story of victimization. So I broke somebody's stuff one time. It was an electronic device, y'all. I broke it, right? Because I had caught some things that I was displeased with, right? So, you know, we fell out, whatever. I broke his stuff. And when we cooled down, we had like a civil dialogue. And, you know, eventually, like once we talking again, you know, the passions were high, and once they simmered, he was just like, you know, you gonna buy me another one. And, you know, he was like, someone special get it to me, blah, blah, blah. It meant a lot to me. And so once he said that, you know, I brought up what he did. And he fires back with, you shouldn't have been sneaking around, and you wouldn't have saw what you saw. And, you know, I can't talk to the person that gave me this, or they don't know where they are or whatever. And I was like, okay, a little bit of gaslighting in there. Are we? A little bit of gaslighting. And so then, you know, right there, now it's the blame game and blah, blah, blah. And I told him, I said, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. And I know that sounds harsh, but, you know, it is what it is. I told that nigga I'm the victim. I'm the one that got my feelings hurt. And so now that I done retaliated, now you the victim. Now your feelings hurt. Mine being hurt, damn it. I'm the victim. So people are trying to, yo, people are trying to put it on you. Because it's like, okay, it's like victimization is literally like, okay, you do something wrong to me, my feelings is hurt. I respond with something. I'm hurt. 911. You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. Okay. Woo! I probably shouldn't. Ninja was over. Ninja over the buttering. Like, I don't like being buttered. I know when I'm being buttered, and that's what I call it. You're trying to butter me because you're trying to hide your intentions. Okay, so, but yeah, okay, so that was the 14th of our 14 types of manipulation. The last one here was victimization. I appreciate you guys for sticking in with me. As we conclude this entire lesson, manipulation is, in a nutshell, a game of power and control. Don't be ignorant that any of this can never be used on you, because when you get to know someone, not knowing, it doesn't have to be a deep or long relationship, but just when you get to know people and you're sharing information and possibly letting your guard down on certain topics, being just open and transparent, you may not feel like it's anything wrong with that, but people use that against you to get whatever it may be. And people are manipulating others. Sometimes it has nothing to do with, them wanting something from you. They could just not like you, and they want to torment you mentally, because that is the ultimate result of manipulation, is having mental torment and being stuck within a cycle of false reality, false perceptions, false structure. Nothing is authentic about it. Nothing is natural about it. Nothing is loving about it. I mean, it's really one of the darkest games you can play to, distort somebody's mindset. And we talk so much in our culture these days, and in 2024 and Gen Z and all that, we talk so much about mental health and get therapy, and we need to come together. The results that's out there does not show people are wanting to come together. People are lovers of themselves, and they are lovers of what they can get. And if you can get it the easy way by just taking it from the next person, 90% of people will do that. They will tear down everything you have built based on them wanting control, power, to be king in the situation. And most importantly, it gives the person it gives the manipulator the upper hand, because they have people that are scrambling behind them, desperately wanting resolution, connection, closure, consistency, just something authentic. And it was never meant for that to happen. So we just talk so much about this stuff and then go right outside and play with somebody's head. And like, the way the culture is, y'all be playing with people that's hanging on to their last bit of sanity. Y'all really do. Y'all be trying to mess with the person that's on their last. Ain't did nothing to nobody. But this life comes with trials and tribulation. There's nowhere you're gonna go in life where there isn't adversity. And I did a series a while ago about betrayal, about how adversity can bring out the best in you, but it definitely shows you what you're made of. But to be a victim of it constantly is where you can tear down a person's nervous system, and they're literally not functioning right at all. They can't make logical decisions no more. They live in a state of fight or flight, wondering when, why, where, and how, and ain't shit even going on. So, we trap people within themselves all the time. We pin people against themselves all the time, and then we wonder why we can't find ourselves, and wonder why we're facing things, and why am I not succeeding in life? And you have to really understand and see what seeds have you planted in other people's lives, because you reap what you sow. I will be doing a series coming this Wednesday. So we got a day or two here coming. I'll be doing a series on Wednesday about karma. I feel like this kind of goes hand in hand with manipulation. So you always get back what you put out. I don't understand how people don't get that. You will always get back what you put out, whether that's now, later, whether that's on your kids. Sometimes what you get back isn't always a direct connection to you. You can speak death on somebody by manipulating them, because life and death is in the power of the tongue. So you either speaking life to somebody or you speaking death. So when you're manipulating and you're doing all of these games and you playing with people's heads and they crashing out, you're speaking death on their life. So what? Oh, Matthew said what time? I'm gonna be on there 9 p.m. Wednesday about karma. So you're speaking death over people's lives, and because you get back what you put out, sometimes it may not be directly to you. It could be somebody in your family. It could be your job. It could be right when you finally get everything you wanted and it comes crashing down before you. So, it don't have to be you don't always get back in the same form of what you put out. That's also what people don't understand, is that just because, you manipulate and you lie, don't mean somebody gonna come back and lie and manipulate you. They very well can, but understand that by the time this hit, I guarantee you won't know where and why this happened and where it came from. And that type of stuff happens to people all the time. You have to assess. Yeah, it's gonna be 9 p.m. Wednesday. 9 p.m. Wednesday, we'll be back with the series about karma. But we kind of going into it now, but not really. I'm just kind of openly talking right now. This is MRT, a real talk. It is what it is. So, you don't always get back in the same form of what you've done to somebody. So it can be all shits and giggles now. You can be shucking and jiving all you want, but just understand that your day to fall is coming. It is, especially for those that willingly manipulate. They love this game. They get a thrill out of it. It's only a matter of time when your day will come. So, understand that, victims, keep your head high, be victorious, be joyful. Please study these 14 types of manipulation, because I mean, like I said, even just going in through it with you guys, and I've already done the research and read it and everything and wrote down what I wanted to say, and I'm still like, damn, that actually was done. Like, I'm over here still stuck with y'all. Like, dang, that's deep. So, you know, these things, manipulation is so subtle. That's what makes it so deceptive. That's what makes it so evil and wrong. It is so subtle. A lot of times, you won't like know until you're in it and you trying to get out. So trust your own perception, trust your own judgment. It's gonna be okay. So we're closing out. I do want to close out with a quote. This quote here, it goes like this: suspect evil in no one until see it. Once see it, forget not. For once an enemy can never be a friend. Kevin Gates. We're gonna close out with that quote probably for the rest of this year. So write it down, get it in your head, because it's so true. It's so true. Suspect evil in no one until see it. Once see it, forget not. For once an enemy could never be a friend. And I hope you guys take all of this and take heed. And we are out.